Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is noon Eastern time here in Ambler, Pennsylvania, the booming metropolis just outside of Philadelphia, PA. Noon Eastern time on Thursdays. You know what that means. It is time for Talent Experience Live, your weekly look into all things recruiting, human resources, talent acquisition, artificial intelligence, and quite frankly, all things Phenom. We like to refer to this as the best show on the internet, your favorite show on the internet. But at home, you can be the judge of that. Obviously, we do it every single Thursday. And the reason why we do that is all towards working towards our purpose, which is to help a billion people find the right work. As I mentioned, that's why we host this program every single Thursday, why we have Cliff Yurkowicz's program, Unusual Attitudes, on a regular basis, why we host a slew of webinars, why, of course, Industry Week is coming up, I think in 2 weeks from now. July the 28th is when that'll be kicking off, so you won't want to miss that. It is 6 industries, 5 days, all the information you need. And, of course, all of this is working towards our purpose of helping a billion find the right work. And the way that we do that, the way that we help those industries, the way that we help people find the right work is through our Intelligent Talent Experience platform, which helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve next level productivity and efficiency, and managers get to build better teams through data analytics and automation. And of course, Phenom is an AI-centered company, so all of this has artificial intelligence worked and weaved into it so that you at the end user cannot even tell, and it makes your lives easier. So if any of this interests you at all, run, don't walk to phenom.com, register for Industry Week and everything in between. Now, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program now that the bills have been paid. I am sure most of you are watching this right now on LinkedIn, and that is kind of what our topic is centered around today. I caught up with Cristina Brown, our VP of Global Customer Value here, because we have some exciting stuff happening on LinkedIn from a Phenom perspective. As you know, we have been a titan in the industry for over 10 years now, and we're beginning to see people require Phenom as kind of a prerequisite for roles, right? Have you worked with Phenom in the past? Are you familiar with the technology? Can you stand up landing pages? Can you do this, that, the other thing? And while we do and have always had a comprehensive training program, we have recently rolled out our Phenom Credential Program. I wanted to make sure I got that right on LinkedIn. That means you can sign up for a course, get a nice little badge, and showcase to all your friends and colleagues why you're better than them because you are a Phenom expert. I sat down with Cristina. We had a wonderful conversation. She is a bundle of energy, and we dove into the intricacies of it, why Phenom has taken this maturation approach and why we are rolling out their credential program. We talked about the capstone event coming up in the fall and so much more. So without any further hesitation, here's myself and Cristina Brown talking about the Phenom Credential Program. Hi, Cristina. How are you?
I'm doing well, Devin. How are you?
I am fantastic, even better now that I'm getting to chat with you, of course. Welcome to the program. Lovely to have you here. But the reason why we have you on, some exciting there's always exciting stuff happening at Phenom. So let me pause for a second. But we have more and more exciting stuff happening every day. And today we want to talk specifically about the Phenom Credential Program that I believe is specific to LinkedIn. But I let you tell it. I'm no expert. That's why we have experts like yourself on. What exactly is this Phenom Credential Program?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is an exciting development for our organization and really for our customers and our users as well. Really as we've matured and our platform has become more sophisticated, the supportive training needs to also rise to the occasion. And so this credentialing program is intended really for mastery of the Phenom platform, and really over a 3-month period, allowing people to sharpen expertise and deepen knowledge around not just the platform, but best practices, introducing AI into organization, change management, and some of the key components really to find success when utilizing technologies like Phenom at their organization. So
I think that bears the question. Obviously, we've done training in the past. We're not just selling our product to people and then saying, best of luck. Let us know if you need anything. How is this different than traditional training programs that we've done here at Phenom? You mentioned AI automation. I imagine that has a role in it, but what are the key differences?
Yeah, so we've always obviously trained on our platform, trained on key components, whether that be virtually, whether that be our regional user sessions. We obviously cater to our Phenom fans in many ways, but this is leveling up, if you will, that and having a pre-orchestrated training experience. And so, first of which, it's a competitive program. We're looking for people that have that innovative appetite. And then once accepted, it'll actually go in three different layers. One is a knowledge base and a kind of a foundational, I would say, detail around our platform. And so that'll be introduced through our knowledge management tool. And so there'll be about 4 hours of online coursework, preparation for that, laying that foundation. And then there'll be two virtual sessions, 90 minutes each, led by our kind of key trainers here at Phenom. Again, just elevating that and pairing together well with what's been learned in the knowledge management platform. And then also introducing a capstone and an actual certification test that would take place in October in Philadelphia. Just really allowing hands-on practice of some of those techniques and bringing it all together. And so it's really proactively orchestrating, right, and layering on in different formats to make sure that that mastery is I don't know. I
Solidified, right? Like
Solidified,
it
yes.
is locked in. No, and I think it's important, right? Because oftentimes, we with the implementation, I think, of artificial intelligence in our daily lives, everyone kind of thinks they're an expert in everything. Christina, I don't know if you've been on that call yet, where you are a master in your field, and someone's like, "Well, ChatGPT told me this," and you're like, "Well, I do this every day. Let me explain it." So having these kind of marquee events, the capstone event, the proof factor of, hey, you're certified, you passed our test, you can bestow this knowledge. That's so exciting. I want to ask you. Obviously, organizations run into new challenges every day when implementing new SaaS technology. Why do you think that is so pertinent, especially in today's day and age, where it seems technology and ease of use is becoming more regular, right? Like you don't have to learn how to code or do any of that things for nearly as many solutions as you once did. But we still have these challenges with adoption, with getting people on. How does training like this help when it comes to really rolling out a successful SaaS product?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this does a nice job of blending the art and science, right? The hands-on practical piece of actually getting the job done, right? So not just layering on, all of the clicks and working within the technology, but also, culminating real life practical application, right? Things like role playing, things like working across different organizations to figure out, where success has been found. And so just that practical application, I think, is an element that's different here. And just the structure of it in general, right? And so it's one thing to say, hey, we're launching this, but how will it really work? How will it really impact day-to-day work, right, within your organization? And so that's where that real life practical lens comes in. And I think this does a nice job of braiding all of that in, right? Because it's not just a platform. It's, hey, how do you handle the change management? How do you work within the AI constructs within your organization? And so again, that practical application is what this is geared towards.
Yeah, I mean it's one thing to take batting practice and get the pitching machine. Happy Gilmore's coming out soon. I'm excited, and I remember that iconic scene. But it's one thing to be in the batter's cage, right? It is a whole nother animal to be in a baseball game. Same thing with technology. You can go through the tests, you can go through the quizzes, but until you get that real hands-on experience with role playing, where you're getting your hands dirty, I don't think you can really say that you can do it, right? So it's super exciting to see that. I want to ask you, who's this for? Obviously, our goal is to help a billion find the right work. We like to think that we do that with our technology and people using it. Who is this certification really geared towards as far as users are concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this is our inaugural year. And so we have two paths that have been curated. We have the talent acquisition path, and, truly that's intended for emerging HR leaders and talent acquisition leaders, whether that be within a certain industry, or it's kind of industry agnostic, if you will. But really an innovator within their organizations. So it doesn't necessarily have to tie into a job title, but that desire to lead the charge, right, and to be innovative within your organization. So ideal for somebody looking to optimize their hiring strategies and operational aspects, of attracting, engaging, and hiring top talent, within the Phenom patent platform. And then we have this other path that's designated for talent marketing specifically, right? This is ideal for HR marketing professionals that are dedicated to enhancing the employer brand, right? And using technology to do that through candidate engagement. And so, slightly different tone, right? One of which is more that TA operational lens, very focused on change management within that, influencing potentially without direct authority, right? And then the talent marketing side has more to do with that creative piece of it. So, also change management, but a slightly different tone as far as, who their internal customers might be.
Yeah, it's so important. Both of this, especially influencing without direct instruction, I think is how you put it, because that's a huge challenge, right? You have a new tool, people are used to they're set in their ways. Humans are creatures of habit, so getting that influence, saying, "Hey, this is a new way to do it," is super exciting. I want to ask you, although there is some overlap that you mentioned, I imagine there are intricacies throughout the training program. So, is there an approach that we've taken here at Phenom where we've kind of done micro certifications, right? Rather than getting a recruiter certified on the entire platform, have we taken that approach so that while they upskill, they can immediately get what is most pertinent to them first and learn that?
Sure. We do have smaller learning tracks, and kind of those micro certifications that you'd mentioned,
Yes.
that are very targeted, right? And that helps with those other personas in which you want to absorb this information, but maybe not at that robust level or not at that level of mastery yet. And so we do have those available, and we have them both electronically, and we have workshops in which you can engage with Phenom. And this is really leveling up and kind of applying the professional recognition potentially, beyond just those micro learning opportunities, right? And making sure that they have the confident aspects within the program, and then of course geared towards adoption, and making sure that other players within your organization are also on board. And so again, just really leveling up. But there are lots of different opportunities to engage on other levels that are very specific to different parts of the platform. Whether that be sourcing specific, event specific, and this really marries in all of those pieces, for those kind of super user elements.
Yeah. No, that's exciting, and it is so important to make sure that you master those little things first. You mentioned recognition. Now, I know that Phenom has been a giant within the HR tech space for quite a while now. I know I'm coming up on like 8 years here. I've been here, Christina. I feel like a dinosaur, but nonetheless, we're having conversations now where we're seeing job postings where they're looking for HRIT people and HR professionals as a whole that have implemented Phenom before, right? They want that experience. So when an individual does get certified, when they're able to add that badge to their LinkedIn, how are they going to be celebrated? How can we recognize them? Is that something we'll be doing here at Phenom? Is that something that they can post to their LinkedIn network so that when one of those jobs comes up, they're at the top of the search, page, if you will? How are we going to really celebrate the people that are partaking in this?
I think that's an important element, right? Because there's an investment of time and energy into this that we want to honor. And so there's several different ways, first of which, it is something that's recognized by LinkedIn. There will be a certification there to where you can add it to your resume, if you will, and be able to, share that and socialize that. And that can also help, obviously, with new career opportunities. There's also going to be a community, an alma mater, if you will, of those that have come through this credentialing program. And so we will have a specialized community where you're able to connect with others. And then we get asked often when there's an opening within our customer base, do you know of anybody? Hey, can you review this job description? I'm hiring somebody that's going to be working within Phenom. And so we're able to actually help from a networking perspective, with some of those items as well. And so there's a couple of different avenues there. And we, of course, want to celebrate. And so that's going to be part of kind of our capstone event here in Philadelphia, but also, out there in social avenues as well, and
Yeah.
LinkedIn amongst others.
Yeah, and I have to ask because we are, is so used to certifications having to be renewed, right? I imagine this is something, as the technology evolves, we are going to allow folks to continue to stay at the cusp of education when it comes to Phenom from a recertification perspective. Is that the case?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And this actually qualifies for SHRM credits, right? For ongoing education and other avenues as well. But this will be an annual recertification, right? And so there's going to be a little micro learning path, just really the latest and greatest from Phenom that people will be able to renew without going through all of the detail again. But this will be something that's renewed annually. And then, that key for that LinkedIn certification distributed based on people completing that.
That is music to my ears because I know it is coming up on that time where I have to do infosec security training again. And
Mhm.
I'll tell you what, the phishing one gets me every single time because I know
Oh, you're on
I
the
know
list.
it now. I know, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, so it's exciting to hear that you don't necessarily have to rehash what you've already learned, but just, find out what's new and maybe take a refresher course. People are going to be excited about this, Christina. I want to ask you, how do people get involved? Is there kind of a waiting list? What does that look like? Because as you mentioned, customers are chomping at the bit about new job roles. How can we, add this into our job description? What does it look like as far as getting certified as it stands today?
Yes, absolutely. So the application is open. It's exciting, and it's out there on the web, so people can apply for the program. And so it's found on phenom.com, credential program there, and we'll make sure that it's kind of available to everyone. And so it's really just filling out a short form, and then that puts in your application, and then we are going to have a board review those candidates, and then with the announcement made in August on who's going to be accepted into this year's class, and then really this is not just a one and done for us. There will be moving forward, kind of a semester schedule to this with, spring and fall. And so this actually is kind of our fall semester, if you will, but it will launch again in the spring. And so there will be other opportunities for those that can't make this kind of first cut. But, we are looking forward to welcoming about 50 people to Philadelphia in October. And then from then on out, potentially different geographies. However, 2 classes per year is what's anticipated next year.
No, super exciting stuff. And if you miss out now, don't worry. That just means it's going to be a well-oiled machine by the time the spring semester
Very
rolls
true.
around, and everything is going to run far more smoothly. Not that it won't run smoothly already, Christina. I have the utmost faith in you. But things happen, right? Like, I know we've done enough IM phenoms. We understand there could be some hiccups here and there. So super exciting stuff. I want to ask you before we part ways, is there anything that I didn't mention that you wanted to add in? Any key pieces, anything you want to give the audience at home before we step off?
Yeah, I think the only thing that's come up in some of our conversations is really, what does this cost? And, this year we are actually waiving tuition, if you will, based on it being, our first run at this. The only real cost is, of course, your time, but then, we are not covering the travel into Philadelphia for the capstone course. However, we will be covering accommodations and the experience while you are here. But that's really the only cost to you is getting to Philly, which, is a different level of voyage for different customers. But we're excited to welcome those users in, and that's the only expense right now. And then next year's tuition schedule will be released in January. But for this year, we are comping these, but just welcoming people in. That's the only piece to keep in mind.
And make sure that your organization has tuition reimbursement when it comes down to it, because this is furthering your career. Make sure you can get it expensed and everything like that. But super exciting to hear that it'll be in Philadelphia, especially in fall and spring. It's the most beautiful time in the city. I have to say so myself. So if you're on the fence, in the fall, you can go catch a football game, enjoy that atmosphere, see some of the history. And this year, Christine, I don't know, it's the 250th anniversary of the United States. So there's going to be lots of bells and whistles around the city, both fall and spring, with the
Yes,
World
and we're going
Cup
to be
coming up too.
incorporating that, right?
Yeah,
So
one.
that you will get the Philadelphia experience that we always
Yes.
deliver with our events, and so we're planning some great things as well.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your time, Christina. Thank you so much. If anyone has any questions, can they reach out to you, find you on LinkedIn? Is there a portal for them to go to? Where can they find out more?
Absolutely, you can contact us through the site. There's going to be a little page where you can pop up with any questions. You can always reach out to me individually, or your customer value manager should be able to assist.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you so much, Cristina, for taking the time to chat with me. Always a lovely conversation. Super exciting stuff that we have here going on at Phenom with the credential program. I hope that hundreds of thousands of you all sign up and get Phenom certified as we work towards our purpose of helping 1 billion find the right work. If you've submitted your application to be credentialed, you are waiting and want to hear more, while you wait, feel free to head on over to phenom.com, find the banner for Industry Week, and register for that. I mentioned at the top of the program that it is six industries over 5 comprehensive days. Everyone from Rally House to Sonesta Hotels to Regions Bank. We are going to tackle retail, hospitality, healthcare, financial services, and manufacturing, and so much more. You're going to hear from Phenom customers, thought leaders, get product demos, and everything in between. So please, register for Industry Week, sign up for our Phenom Credential Program, and tune in next week where I will have a wonderful conversation focusing specifically on healthcare with Luke Carignan. Can't wait to see you there. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a safe, happy, and healthy weekend, and we'll see you real soon because we do this every damn Thursday. Thanks so much. Bye.